Hey y'all, it is April the 28th and we're about to pick some sweet peas with my Oxbow pull picks. So this is what my sweet peas look like. This particular variety is not quite ready yet. You can see it's got a decent sized vine on it, but my pods are not fully filled yet. They're still kind of flat. They're not bulged out quite yet. These still got a little ways to go. Some of these vines have gotten kind of tall. They're easy enough to pick at this height, but this particular variety doesn't have filled out pods yet. It's still got a lot of flowers on it. Those will be peas, and the flowers have already turned into pods are not filled out yet, so we're not going to pick this particular variety yet. But I have a shorter season variety over here. Vines are much smaller, but the pods are filled out. And that's what we're going to be attempting to pick. It had a concentrated fruit set, meaning that it flowered all at one time and made all the crop at once, instead of like these other varieties where I have pods and flowers. It's putting on two crops. And that can be an issue because when I run my picker, it basically kills the plant. Technically it doesn't kill the plant, but strips almost all the leaves off the plant. So it basically kills the plant. So if I pick it when these oldest peas are ready, those youngest peas aren't going to ever mature. You know, that it's going to get rid of those blooms. But if I wait till those blooms make peas, these peas are going to be past maturity. So you got to decide which crop you want to pick. So you really don't want a pea crop that puts on multiple crops. You want a concentrated fruit set, so it puts on one crop and you can gather all of it at one time. You can come in here, and we have been doing this a little bit this year so far. If you got multiple crop sets, you can come in here and hand pick the first crop, kind of get it out of the way a little bit. But man, we're trying to get away from hand labor. There ain't no hand labor in South Georgia. We're trying to get away from that kind of stuff. So I mechanize as much as possible. I focus on crops that make one crop set. But this is my first year growing sweet peas. I got 4 different varieties. We didn't know what to expect, but we are learning things about sweet peas. This is the BH100. It does pick peas if you plant the right variety. I've made that mistake before. You got to plant the right variety. If you plant ladyfingers, you plant a vining pea, a zipper, or I've planted some purple hulls even. If it's not a top pick or a quick pick, if it's not the correct variety of pea, it's a vining pea instead of a bush pea, you don't want this machine anywhere around it. Vine peas and this machine do not get along. I found out the hard way. But basically, this machine is just a sideways peanut picker. If you're familiar with a peanut picker, this is more or less a sideways peanut picker. You just have this head, instead of the head being perpendicular to the row, my head is parallel to the row. So the row will come by, it'll enter in right here and go inside there. These fingers will be rolling around like this, knocking the peas off the vine into the plant, into the picker. This brush cleans the fingers off as they come back out. The peas will fall in on this belt and travel all the way through here. They drop down into this area, and there's a big fan up above. The fan is sucking air through that grate, and it's going to suck any of the light things, such as leaves, out and blow them out right here. And the heavier objects, such as peas and dirt clods, if you run the head too low, are going to ride up right here. They'll go into a bag. As this bag gets full, you flip your lever to direct the peas to the other bag. Real basic, super simple. You can look at this machine and tell it's old as dirt. I don't know what year this machine was made. I want to say this is probably a late 70s model. They've basically changed none at all whatsoever. So this one still works just fine. The newer ones do have a big guard over that death trap right there. I don't run that guard. I don't have it. Never have had it since I've had this machine. Works just fine without it. So we're going to fire this baby up, see if we can pick a few peas. This particular tractor that you see us using a lot of videos, we purchased it just to pull specifically this bean picker. Now we use it for a lot of other things, but the reason we got this particular tractor is because it has the correct transmission where I can run less than 1 mile an hour at PTO speed. So with most other tractors, if I wanted to speed the PTO up to the correct speed, I would be traveling 2-3 miles an hour. But this one has a low enough range in the transmission that I can travel at 1/2 mile an hour while the pea picker's turning fast enough to pick peas. That's important because you have to travel very slowly when you go down the road. If I were to get on my 40-20 or the 44-30 and hook this thing behind it and take off down the road in first gear, 1500 RPM, I'd be running 4 miles an hour and I would miss 90% of the peas. This tractor here will crawl down the road, and that's very crucial to this process, that it be able to go super duper slow. This particular variety of pea we're going to pick today is called Dakota. These vines are incredibly short, which is going to be a challenge because if I get my head too close to the ground, it'll pick up all this dirt and dirt clods, pick this crap up, and it'll mix it with the peas. I don't want that. You can see these peas, man, some of these things are low. The reason I'm traveling this direction, I'm only traveling this direction, I'm not turning around and coming back, because all the peas have laid over facing the east. So if I were to come down that road with a picker turning like this, it would miss those peas. But I can come down this direction, the picker turns like this, and it'll pick them up, and it'll rake them into the machine. Look at all those pods. So that's the plan anyway. You see the other varieties, you can still see heavy flowers. This row, not as many flowers. This is what we're going to try to get. After I picked it, I'm pretty clean here. We got a couple of them on the ground. It's leaving one every now and then, but it's doing, overall, it's doing pretty fair. Not perfect, but it's doing fair enough. We got us 2 big bags of peas picked. We're supposed to take them down there to the sheller. I grow 25, 26 acres of southern peas, 20 acres of butter beans, but I only have 1 acre of sweet peas, or field peas, or English peas, whatever you want to call them. I only grow 1 acre of them. This is my first year ever growing them. It's just a trial. We didn't know if we could grow them, if it would work here or not. We're pretty far south, and we don't know anything about sweet peas at all. So I planted 4 varieties on 1 acre just to see if it would work out. We never sprayed anything on them. No herbicide, no pesticide, no fungicide, nothing with side in the name on it. Name of it was Out Here. This is just God's dirt with a little bit of fertilizer and rainwater, and we got what we got out here. We've been eating a few of them as they've been slowly maturing, been coming out here and scavenging a few, and let me tell you, these things are good. I don't know about that stuff you get in the grocery store in the can. I don't know where it came from or how it was grown, but this stuff right here, it was grown without any of that bad stuff on it. It tastes super good. They're really sweet. Y'all try them out if you want to. Get up with us, MP Produce on Facebook, or you can call me if you know my number. But it's very limited. It's only 1 acre. So first come, first serve. Holler at us if you want to try some. Let's go to the sheller and see how these babies shell out. Hey y'all, so it's been overnight now. I have chilled those peas in my walk-in cooler. They're sitting there all night long, which should give them time to shrink away from the hulls a little bit, make them shell a little better. I'm gonna throw them in a roto finger and see how good they shell out. I got my peas dumped in here. I picked through here, try to make sure I get any dirt clods if there are any out of here. I don't want any dirt rolling around in this sheller. Basically, the way this thing works, these paddles are going to spin round and round in the opposite direction that this barrel is turning. As they spin, and this spins the opposite way, these peas will come up in there and they'll fall down through these paddles, and it will crack them open. And the peas will fall out and go through these little waffle holes, which goes in between these slats, and they will fall out the bottom of the machine where they hit a shaker, and they'll shake down to the end and come out in a little Tupperware. Was blowing up in his pipe and blowing the leaves out. Even it might shake through this lighter end of pea, it blows out. Tries to keep them a little cleaner in here. I still have a few things to pick through, but this fan gets a lot of the material out. The machine's been running about 3.5 minutes now. See, there's no more peas shaking out, or very, very few. We got very little falling off in here. We're starting to get more hulls. That means they're all shelled out. So I'm gonna shut the machine down. It took, like I said, about 3.5 minutes. We'll dump these hulls out, put the other bag in there, see how they're looking. I'll run them through my air cleaner to clean out what was left, because at the very end of the process, it shakes out, starts shaking out more holes because it's done shelled all the peas. So as it's trying to get the last few little peas, it'll start mixing some holes in there. That's when you know it's done shelling. So I have an air cleaner right here. I run them through it to separate this out from the peas and see what we got. Table right here. The peas come down and vibrate and fall down this ramp here. There's a huge fan down here pushing air up, and the leaves get blown around and out into the trash can. The peas fall in right here. got my scales set up here. I have 34-pound bag of peas in the field and 33-pound bag of peas in the field before we shelled them. We've shelled them now. We got 14.30, 12.55. We bag them up in 8-pound bags. The 8 pounds is considered a shelled bushel. If you want to try some of our peas, go to MP Produce on Facebook. Send us a message. We'll be glad to sell you some. We don't spray anything on these peas. These are all natural and they are delicious. Thank y'all for watching. See you next time.